Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new session. All right, so today we will do what we said yesterday. That is, first we will solve 50 questions, the remaining 50 questions from WB set, and then we will do our questions from midnight session. Right, so let me start by sharing the screen first. So, yesterday we already solved the first 50 questions from this question paper, and today we will solve the remaining 50. Right, let me start. So question 51. Which Indian English poet is the first recipient of the Sahitya Academy Award for English Poetry? Is it Nissim Ezekiel, R. Parthasarathi, Jayant Mahapatra, or Giv Patel? So you all know it's a very easy question. So it was Jayanta Mahapatra. Jayanta Mahapatra was the first English poet who got the Sahitya Academy Award for English Poetry. Right? Clear? So option C is the correct answer. That is Jayanta Mahapatra. Next.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Mudruru is a pen name of the Australian writer. Option A, Colin Thomas Johnson. Option B, Tim Winton. Option C, Matthew Rayleigh. And option D, Thomas Kingley. The correct answer is yes, option A, Colin Thomas Johnson. Mudruru is a pen name of Colin Thomas Johnson. Yes. So with that, we move on to the next question.
All right. So one thing with this question 53 is there is a certain overlapping of the feminists here with the movements they belonged. Still, I will give you the answer which I thought would be correct. But we are not telling you that this is the ultimate and final answer and there can be no variations to this. No, we are not saying this because apparently there are overlappings of the feminists and the various waves of feminism they belong to. So we are in no way telling you that, okay, this is the final one and there can be no other answer. So not that. So I will tell you just what I thought about it. Here, German Greer belonged to second wave of feminism, I would say. Then Rosemary Radcliffe Ruder, she belonged to ecofeminism, right? Then Bell Hooks, third wave of feminism, and Teresa de Lauretis to the first wave, right? So let me just say it again. German Greer, second wave. German Greer, so A3. So either A or B can be the answer. Then bell hooks. Bell hooks will be, I think, third wave. So 1. So C will be 4, I think. That is Teresa de Lauretis' fourth wave of feminism. And Rosemary Radcliffe Ruder will be ecofeminism. That's a very sure short answer because Rosemary Radcliffe Ruder, indeed, she belonged to ecofeminism. If you have read about her works, if you just know about her, we know that Rosemary Radcliffe Ruder, she practiced ecofeminism through her works. So according to me, it can be option, that is option B can be the answer. That is A3, B1, C4, D2. Again, it's not the final version or anything. You guys can feel free to give other answers because there is such an overlapping, because bell hooks contributed to both second wave and third waves of feminism. So here we cannot just pinpoint that, okay, bell hooks was just limited to third wave or second wave. We cannot say that, but this is my answer because we somehow have to at least pinpoint one options here, one option. So yeah, so according to me, option B can be the answer. Right, next.
Yes. So moving on to the next question. Who wrote The Fakir of Jangira? Is it Rudyard Kipling, George Orwell, Henry Louis Vivian DeRozio, or John Masters? Is the answers are flooding. It is DeRozio. Yes, it is DeRozio. So what is The Fakir of Jangira? Is it a poem or is it a novel? What is it? Is it a poem or a novel? It's a poem written in 1828, okay? And it has got a 2050 lines also to it. Yes. So Fakir of Jangira by Derosio. Okay, so we will move on to the next.
Who wrote the following? Question 55. Who wrote the following? Bliss was it in that dawn to be alive, but to be young was very heaven. So, who wrote these lines? Shakespeare, Milton, Wordsworth, or T.S. Eliot? Yes, these lines were written by Wordsworth. And these lines can be found in the work dash. In which work can we see these lines? In which work can we see these lines? Bliss was it in the dawn to be alive, but to be young was very heaven. He was talking about the French Revolution, right? Because during this time, French Revolution had already started, and with it, French Revolution brought about new promises of freedom, new promises of democracy, new promises of middle class, high standard living. Yes, he talked about it in the prelude, right? So, knowing the primary texts well can help you in this cases, especially when they're asking directly lines from the texts. So try to read up lines, not lines. I mean, read up texts as much as you can. So that way it would help you to answer such questions. So yes, the correct answer would be option C, William Wordsworth. Yeah, next.
Yes. So the next question is, who was the first English writer to win the Nobel Prize in Literature? First English writer. W.B. Yeats, Rudyard Kipling, T.S. Eliot, or Bernard Shaw? Yes, it is Rudyard Kipling. And can you tell me in which year did he get Nobel Prize? Rudyard Kipling. He got Nobel Prize in, yes, 1907. Rudyard Kipling got his Nobel Prize in 1907 and followed by W.B. Yeats. So W.B. Yeats got Nobel Prize in 1923. And T.S. Eliot, as we all know, yes, it is in 1948. T.S. Eliot got Nobel Prize in 1948. And George Bernard Shaw also got Nobel Prize, and that happened in the year 1925. Bernard Shaw in 1925. So I repeat that again. Rudyard Kipling in 1907. W.B. Yeats in 1923. T.S. Eliot in 1948. And Bernard Shaw in 1925. Yes, so make a note of the Nobel Prize years also, okay? So it's also very important. Okay.
Who is the author of Les Morts de Earth? Was it John Skelton, Sir Thomas Malory, William Langland, or George Pill? Very famously, it was option B, Sir Thomas Malory, who wrote Les Morts de Earth. The correct answer here is option B, Sir Thomas Malory. Right? Okay.
So with that, we will move on to the next question. Who uses the term archaeology to describe his research methodology? The options are W.H. Auden, Roman Jacobson, Michel Foucault, and Roland Barthes. Yes, the answer is Michel Foucault. Michel Foucault uses the term archaeology to describe his research methodology. Yes, so can you tell me who uses the term called heterotopia? Heterotopia is associated with, again, Michel Foucault. Yes, Foucault. Okay. Yes, very good. Yeah, so we will move on to the next question.
Who amongst the following wrote the Renaissance? Was it Walter Pater, Sir Philip Sidney, T.S. Eliot, or Oscar Wilde? Yes, this writer was very prominent during the fin de siècle era or the end of the 19th century. He was famous for bringing the movement of La Porte l'Art or aestheticism into England. Yes, he wrote the Renaissance. It was none other than Walter Pater. Walter Pater. Option A is the correct answer here. Walter Pater. Also associated with aestheticism was Oscar Wilde, right? But here the correct answer is Walter Pater. He wrote the Renaissance. Studies in the history of the Renaissance, better known as the Renaissance. Clear? Option A correct. Walter Pater. Next.
Yes, okay. So, which of the following is not a journal level metric? Which of the following is not a journal level metric? So, the options are impact factor, Egan factor, site score, and H index. Yes, it is the H index. So, I'll give you a small outline of what H index is. So, H index is a journal level metric. So it measures both the productivity and the citation impact of an individual author's publications. So on the contrary, this impact factor, eigen factor, and the site score, these are all journal level metrics. So the other one is H index is a research level metric. So impact factor means it measures the average number of citations to recent articles published in a journal. And Egan factor, so it considers both the number of citations and the quality of citing journals. So that is Egan factor. And cite score is it calculates the average citations per document published in a journal over a period of like 4 years. So that is cite score. Okay, so that's like a little quick description of what the options are. With that, we will move on to the next question.
Who is the writer of the epistle titled Of That Sort of Dramatic Poem that is called Tragedy? Is it by Ben Jonson, Christopher Marlowe, John Milton, or is it by Dr. Samuel Johnson? It's an epistle, right? Like it's a letter. So it is by John Milton. Option C is the correct answer. John Milton wrote this epistle of that sort of dramatic poem that is called Tragedy. Clear? John Milton is the answer. Next.
Okay. So, which of the following authors was associated with the Bloomsbury Group? Mulkraj Anand, Christopher Isherwood, Stephen Spender, Raja Rao. Yes, we all know Bloomsbury Group, right? Virginia Woolf was there. Yes, Leonard Woolf, Vanessa Bill, Clive Bell, Roger Fry, Ritten Strachey, David Garnett. Yeah, these were all members of the Bloomsbury Group. And along with that, we have Mulkraj Anand. So option A, Mulkraj Anand is the right answer. Option A. It's not Christopher Isherwood, it is Mulkraj Anand. Okay.
Question 63. Very easy question from Indian literature. Who wrote the essay Naipaul's India and Mine? Salman Rushdie, Nissim Ezekiel, Amitav Ghosh, Anita Desai. This question comes in almost every other exam, be it NET or any SET, GATE, whatever. So it is obviously by Nissim Ezekiel. Option B is the correct answer. Nissim Ezekiel wrote this essay, Naipaul's India and Mine. Now you guys can let me know that Nissim Ezekiel wrote this essay against which work of V.S. Naipaul? All right. And do look up the novels of V.S. Naipaul in the correct chronology and try to read as many poems as you can of Nissim Ezekiel as well. So here the correct answer is option B, Nissim Ezekiel, one of the stalwarts of Indian English poetry, along with Shiv K. Kumar, Jayanta Mahapatra, A.K. Ramanujan, R. Parthasarathi, right? So Nissim Ezekiel wrote this essay, Naipaul's India and Mine, against which work of V.S. Naipaul? Do let us know that. Next.
Okay, so with that, we move on to the next question. Who wrote the following lines? Full many a flower is born to blush unseen, and waste is sweetness on the desert air. The options are P.B. Shelley, Thomas Gray, James Thomson, and William Cowper. So the answer is Thomas Gray. Thomas Gray is the right answer. See, whichever question papers you take, you are sure to have a question from either Thomas Gray or Shelley. So these are some of the frequently asked authors. So you should make a note of them and you should study them. So can you tell me who wrote these lines? No more let life divide what death can join together. No more let life divide what death can join together. Yes, it is. It's one of Shelley's. Yes, it's one of Shelley's. See, quotes like these are very important. So read on them. Read major works of these poets. So that can fetch you like a lot of marks. Okay. Yes. So we move on to the next question.
As of 2021, which of the following is not a free plagiarism check resource? Duplicator, Viper, Quetext, or Plagium, which is not free. Here, one name is there which is not free. It is Viper. Option B is correct. The others are free. Duplicator, Quetext, Plagium, they can be used for free. You don't need to pay anything for using them. But Viper is not free anymore. So here option B is correct. Viper is not a free plagiarism checker resource from 2021 onwards. Correct answer is option B, Viper. That's not free. Okay.
Yeah. So the next question is match the epigraphs in list 1 with the novels in which they occur. So that will be a list 2. The first one is vengeance is mine, I will repay. So do you have any idea who said that? Vengeance is mine and I will repay. And that can give match to the character. Anna Karenina. Yes, Anna Karenina of Tolstoy. That's where we find these lines. This epigraph, vengeance is mine, I will repay. You are all a lost generation. So that comes in, you are all a lost generation is from option 4. Yes, The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. So option C, and I only escaped to tell you. I only escaped to tell you is from, yes, it is. Yes, option 1, it is Moby Dick. Yes, Moby Dick. Moby Dick of Herman Melville. And only connect is from, only connect. Yes, the very last option is Howard's End. Howard's End by E.M. Foster. So your correct option will be option B. Option B is the right answer here. Okay, we shall move on.
All right, so now we will look at question 67. The carnivalesque is a Bakhtinian concept explored in one of the following texts. Identify it. So in which work Mikhail Bakhtin has talked about the idea of the carnivalesque? Rabelais and His World, Seven Types of Ambiguity, Sexual Politics, or The Illusions of Postmodernism. First of all, we know that here, except one text, three of these are written by different authors. Seven Types of Ambiguity is by William Empson. Sexual Politics is by Kate Millett. And who wrote The Illusions of Postmodernism? Who wrote The Illusions of Postmodernism? Tell me. Seven Types of Ambiguity is by William Empson. Sexual Politics by Kate Millett. The Illusions of Postmodernism by? It is also not by Bakhtin, right? Which work here is by Bakhtin? It is Rabelais and His World. In that text, Bakhtin has talked about the concept of the carnivalesque. What is carnivalesque? What do we mean by carnivalesque? It is the idea where all the existing hierarchies are what happens to the hierarchies in carnivalesque? All the hierarchies are subverted. All the existing hierarchies are subverted. That's what he meant by carnivalesque. Which play of Shakespeare talks about this idea of carnivalesque? Which play of Shakespeare talks about this idea of carnivalesque? Any idea? Twelfth Night or What You Will. There we get to see this idea or concept of carnivalesque getting played out very well. Obviously, maybe Shakespeare didn't know about this idea, but that is one play where we see that how all the hierarchies of power are made to go topsy-turvy, right? So, Bakhtin is very important. He has talked about carnivalesque. He talked about chronotope. He talked about then heteroglossia, polyglossia. So Bakhtin is very important in terms of the reading of the novel. Uh, Another very important writer in terms of the novel is Ian Watt. Ian Watt has written a very important history of the rise of the novel. Yeah, in Tempest also we can say that all the hierarchies go topsy-turvy, but really do they? Because Prospero retains power in certain ways. Only there are only some people in whose lives go topsy-turvy, whose hierarchies get bit subverted, but not all of them. Because I think Prospero stays powerful more or less. He doesn't really go powerless. So maybe Tempest not very powerfully. Okay. Next question.
Okay, so the next question is, which of the following novels does not contain a courtroom trial? Is it in Bleak House, The Outsider, To Kill a Mockingbird, or Death in Venice? Yes, we for sure know that there is a courtroom trial in Bleak House. Yes, by Charles Dickens. So there is one an outsider, right? Albert Camus. Outsider also we have a courtroom trial. Yes, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. There also we find a courtroom trial. So which is the answer? Death in Venice. Option D, Death in Venice, will be your answer by Thomas Mann. Death in Venice was written by Thomas Mann. So that was the work that does not contain a courtroom trial. So the scenes in these works are also really important. So whenever you find something that connects parallelly, make a note of it and study accordingly. Okay. Yes.
Next question. Which of the following poetical works is not by Agha Shahid Ali? So we know that Half Inch Himalayas is indeed by Agha Shahid Ali. A Nostalgist's Map of America is by Agha Shahid Ali. I think Trishanku is not by him. Trishanku is by Manu Bhandari. So Trishanku, I think, is the answer. It's not by Agha Shahid Ali. It's by Manu Bhandari. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correct. But Trishanku is a work by Manu Bhandari. That's not by Agha Shahid Ali. So I think option D will be the correct answer. Trishanku. Okay, next.
Yes. So the next question is, who described the wasteland as a music of ideas? Wasteland is a music of ideas. Is it Edmund Wilson, I.A. Richards, Robert Bly, or Kenneth Burke? Yes. We've never heard Robert Bly say something like that about Wasteland, so that is not Robert Bly. Kenneth Burke, no, there are no chances. So our confusion comes between Edmund Wilson and I.A. Richards, right? It is option A. Edmund Wilson is the right answer. Edmund Wilson described the wasteland as a music of ideas. Yes, Edmund Wilson.
Which of the texts listed below is not a novel written by Saul Bellow? Seize the Day, Herzog, Humboldt's Gift, White Noise. So clearly, White Noise is not by Saul Bellow, it's by Don DeLillo. So option D is the correct answer. White Noise is not by Saul Bellow, it's by Don DeLillo. Option D is correct, White Noise. Next.
Okay, so we have a question from Indian literature here. In which work do we find the following characters? Raghu, Tehuti, and Tara. A House of Mr. Biswas, The Sea of Poppies, Untouchable, Midnight's Children. So the right answer is option. It's option B. Yes, Sea of Poppies. Option B, Sea of Poppies is the right answer. So who wrote Sea of Poppies? We all know it. Amitav Ghosh. Yes, Amitav Ghosh. So whichever question paper you take, these are some of the favorites when it comes to question paper. Okay, so make a note of Amitav Ghosh. You make sure that you study the chronology of Amitav Ghosh. Yeah, that's also very important. Also, when it comes to V.S. Naipaul or Salman Rushdie. So these are all some of the important authors, and their chronology is also very important. And the characters also make a note of that and study accordingly. Yeah.
The future of poetry is immense is the first line of an essay by whom? Matthew Arnold, Charles Lamb, William Hazlitt, or Oscar Wilde. So this is the first line of the essay, The Study of Poetry, that was written by Matthew Arnold. So here the correct answer is option A. Matthew Arnold wrote the essay The Study of Poetry. And there the opening line goes like this, that the future of poetry is immense. So option A is correct, Arnold. Next.
Okay. So the next question is, I sometimes hold it half a sin to put in words the grief I feel, for words like nature half reveal and half conceal the soul within. So these are some of the famous lines from which work? So we have Thomas Hardy's The Darkling Thrush, Tennyson's In Memoriam, A. E. Houseman's A Shropshire Lad, or is it T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland? Yes, it is from In Memoriam by Tennyson. So option B is your right answer. So we find these lines in option B. Yes, so Tennyson is a very important writer and his works also, so make a note of it and study Tennyson.
Question 75. Which of the following novels is not written by Stephanie Meyer? Twilight, Eclipse, Life and Death, or The Vampire Lestat? Here one novel is by Annie Rice. That is The Vampire Lestat. Option D is the correct answer. Option D. Twilight, Eclipse, and Life and Death are by Stephanie Meyer. But The Vampire Lestat is not by Stephanie Meyer. So option D is the correct answer. The Vampire Lestat. It's not by Stephanie Meyer. I think in one of our sessions we already talked about Anne Rice. So The Vampire Lestat is by Anne Rice, not Stephanie Meyer.
Okay. So the next question is, in which of the following Indian plays in English is Hasmukh Mehta a leading character? Is it Bravely Fought the Queen, Tara, Final Solutions, or Where There's a Will? The answer is option D. Yes, Where There Is a Will by Mahesh Dattani. See, this is the second question when it comes to Indian literature, asking about the characters, and you have to tell them the work. So study like that. So make a note of all these characters and the important works. So there can be chances that the questions can be asked in that manner also. Yes. So it is Where There Is a Will by Mahesh Dattani.
The City and the City is an example of urban science fiction written by J.G. Ballard, Isaac Asimov, John Brunner, or China Mieville? So the city and the city, it's an example of urban science fiction by China Mieville. Option D is the correct answer. China Mieville. Okay, 78.
Okay, so it's question number 78, and we've got to match the following here. So we have to match the authors with their words. Okay, so the first one is Kiki and Daruwala. So, which is the work here by Kiki and Daruwala? Crossing the river. Is Kiki and Daruwala's Crossing the River. The second one is Jayanda Mahapatra. So, which is that work here by Jayanda Mahapatra? Shadow Space. Jayanda Mahapatra's Shadow Space. And Arun Koladkar's work is Arun Koladkar's Jejuri. Yes. And Kamla Das, The Descendants. Kamla Das, The Descendants. I'll repeat it again. Kiki and Daruwala wrote Crossing the Rivers. Jayanda Mahapatra wrote Shadow Space. Arun Koladkar's Jejuri. And Kamala Das, The Descendants. So the correct answer and the correct option here is option C. Option C will be your right answer. All right.
Name the only comedy written by the prominent American dramatist Eugene O'Neill. The Hairy Ape, Ah Wilderness, The Iceman Comet, or Strange Interlude. Only comedy. It is Ah Wilderness. Option B is the correct answer. Ah Wilderness is the only comedy written by Eugene O'Neill. Option B. Ah Wilderness.
Okay, so moving on to question number 80. Which one of these is not a position of encoding decoding according to Stuart Hall? So it's a question from culture studies. Yes, the options are the dominant hegemonic position, the negotiated position, the oppositional position, the negotiated oppositional position. The question is which is not a position of encoding and decoding. Yes, so the correct answer is option D, the negotiated oppositional position. Yes, so the all the other options are right, and the wrong one is the negotiated oppositional position. So option D is your right answer.
Who among the following is associated with the volume Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque? Horace Walpole, Mary Shelley, Edgar Allan Poe, or Mervyn Peake? It's a very easy question. It's by Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe wrote Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque. Option C is the correct answer. Tales of the Grotesque and the Arabesque. It's by Edgar Allan Poe. Option C. Next.
Okay. So sorry guys. Yes. So the next question is Kampili is a central character in Buchi Emmetida's Joys of Motherhood, or is it Chinnamida Adichie's Purple Hibiscus, Ukamaka Evelyn Oliswax, I'm sorry, Eyes of Goddess, or is it Ladipo Manioka's Independence? The right answer is yes, option B. Yes, Kampili is from Adichie's Purple Hibiscus. Complete? Yes. Purple hibiscus. That's the right answer. Option B.
The poem Passage to India is written by Walt Whitman, Pablo Neruda, Nissim Ezekiel, or E.M. Foster. It's by Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman wrote the poem Passage to India. Option A is the correct answer. Option A is correct. Walt Whitman wrote the poem Passage to India. Okay, next.
So the next question is Dryden's heroic play All for Love is based on which one of the following text? All for Love. Is it from Romeo and Juliet, Love's Labour's Lost, Troilus and Cressida, or Antony and Cleopatra? The correct answer is option D. Option D, Antony and Cleopatra is the right answer. So, All for Love by Dryden is based on Antony and Cleopatra. Yeah.
What is the source of the plot for Milton's Samson Agonistes? So, Samson Agonistes was a tragic closet drama by Milton that was published in 1671. And the source was what? The Book of Judges, Book of Job, Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastics. Question 85. The source was the Book of Judges. The Book of Judges was the source for Milton's tragic closet drama, Samson Agonistes. Agonistes means what? It means wrestler. And it was published in 1671. So correct answer is the Book of Judges, option A.
Okay. Again, we have another set of match the following questions. So we just match the fictional settings in list 1 with the authors in list 2. So Lance of Gulliver. Lance of Gulliver is Jonathan Swift. Yes, very good. So Land of Oz. Land of Oz. France Bow. Yes, France Bow. And Middle Earth. Middle Earth. Lewis Carroll and Wonderland. I'm sorry, Wonderland by Lewis Carroll and Middle Earth by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yes, so the correct option is option A. So Lance of Gulliver is from Jonathan Swift. Land of Oz by Frank Boe. Middle Earth by J.R.R. Tolkien. And Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. So option A is your right answer. Option A.
So what does the word NetSpeak denote? Digital resources, journalistic wordplay, pedantic verbiage, or poetic musings. So generally NetSpeak easily means the long words which are made short when we talk online. Like LOL means I don't know. I forgot what LOL means. Anyway, you get the thing. LOL. Then NGL, right? So these are the short forms we use when talking online in Insta or WhatsApp. So here, I think the answer will be digital resources because NetSpeak means the short forms that are used when we talk online. So here, the correct answer will be, I think, A, option A, digital resources. Option A will be correct. Next.
Yes. So with that, we move on to question number 88. In which work does Thomas Carlyle denounce scientific materialism? Past and present, Sartre Resartus, reminiscences, and Chartism. Yes. So we for sure know that it's not reminiscences and Chartism. So our controversy lies between past and present and Sartre Resartus. See, in both these works, even past and present and Sartre Resartus, Carlyle actually denounced scientific materialism, but it is more talked about in past and present. So personally, I would go for past and present. Yeah, but if you answer Sartre Resartus also, there can be chances that the answer is also right because the same thing is also discussed in Sartre Resartus. So, but for the answer, we would go with past and present. Option A. Yeah.
Find the odd one out. Very easy. Abhinava Gupta, Sri Aurobindo, Kuntaka, or Ashtavakra. So Abhinava Gupta and Kuntaka and Ashtavakra, all of them are ancient classical masters. So I think the odd one out will be Sri Aurobindo. Option B will be the correct answer. Sri Aurobindo is the odd one out here. He is not an ancient classical master. He was writing quite during the modern era. So option B will be the correct answer, Sri Aurobindo. Okay. So I saw this that okay, yes, those characters questions were there. Raghu, Tara, Debuti. So those were characters from a house of Mr. Biswas, not the Sea of Poppies. I think there was a confusion. The correct answer will be a house of Mr. Biswas by Naipaul. All right, so sorted. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
next.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So, question number 90. Identify the short story collection of Peter Carey from the following list: Oscar and Lucinda, Il Vaca, Bliss, The Fat Man in History. Yes, very good. So, the answer is The Fat Man in History. So, option D is your right answer. The Fat Man in History. Yeah, that's a short story collection by Peter Carey. Yeah.
Who introduced the concept of double consciousness in the context of Afro American identity? Theodore Adorno, Leon Trotsky, Friedrich Engels, and or W.E.B. Du Bois. So it was obviously W.E.B. Du Bois, who in the book The Souls of Black Folk talked about this idea of double consciousness. So here the correct answer will be W.E.B. Du Bois. He talked about double consciousness. That is how black people always seem to see themselves in terms of the other. How black people always see or judge themselves or perceive themselves in terms of the other. That is the white people. And that's what you call double consciousness that operates within them. They can never really see themselves, according to Du Bois, in terms of themselves that I am this. They always see themselves from the perspectives of the white people. And that's how double consciousness operates within them. And it was W.E.B. Du Bois who talked about this. All right. So the option D is correct. Option D. Next.
Okay, so with that, we will move on to our next question for the day. During which centuries did the Great Vowel Shift take place in the European language? Is it 680 to 1080, or 580 to 880, 1180 to 1580, or 1480 to 1780? So, roughly, we can calculate it to 1180 to, 1480 to 1780. So, option D is your right answer. 1480 to 1780 is the time when the great vowel shift happened in the European language. Option D.
Okay. Next, we again have a list of various works and their authors. Confessions of a Thug. So it is question number 93. It will be option B. Let me first say that option B. So A will be 3. Confessions of a Thug by Philip Meadows Tyler. Then B4. Thug, the true story of India's murderous cult by Mike Dash. C will be 1. The Thing About Thugs by Tabish Khair. And Notes on a Thug by William T. Meadows. So option B will be the correct answer. Confessions of a Thug by Philip Meadows Taylor. Thug, the true story of India's murderous cult by Mike Dash. The Thing About Thugs by Tabish Khair. And Notes on a Thug by William T. Meadows. Option B will be correct. 94.
Yes. So, question number 94. Which of the following texts is not a kitchen sink drama? This is an easy one, right? So, it's not a kitchen sink drama. So, the options are Look Back in Anger, Roots, Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, and Fallen Angels. So, the right answer is option option D, Fallen Angels by Walter D. Myers. Fallen Angels is the text which does not come under the kitchen sink drama. So option D is your right answer.
The Withered Arm is a short story by whom? Thomas Hardy, W. W. Jacobs, Edgar Allan Poe, or E. T. A. Hoffman. The short stories of this person is very important. They're prescribed at bachelor's and master's level in universities. So question 95. The Withered Arm is a short story by Thomas Hardy. The Withered Arm is a short story by Thomas Hardy. Option A is correct. It's by Thomas Hardy. Okay, next, yeah.
Yeah, so the next question is Isaac Bickerstaff was a pseudonym used by one of the following authors. Identify William Congreve, Edmund Burke, Jonathan Swift, and John Dryden. So the answer is yes, Jonathan Swift. Option C, Jonathan Swift is the right answer. See, this is the second question occurring in the same question paper asking for the pen name. Earlier we had Mudruru, remember? Mudruru, who is Colin Thomas Johnson. Yeah, and now question is asked about Isaac Bickerstaff, who's Jonathan Swift. So yeah, make a note of it and study it, okay? Yes, so the answer is option C.
It's the last question because we won't do the comprehension thing. Which medieval text sought to reveal the secrets of afterlife? Dante's Divine Comedy, Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales, Spenser's The Faerie Queene, or Petrarch's Canzoniere? Very clearly, it is Dante's Divine Comedy. Dante's Divine Comedy talks about afterlife. So option A is correct. Option A is correct. Dante's Divine Comedy. It talks about afterlife. All right. So with that, we come to an end of this question paper thing. Now let me start the Midnight's Children thing. Okay. Oh. All right. I hope the screen is visible. So I welcome to you separately to this. Okay. So no more question paper. Let us do this because net date has already been declared, right? It is 7th of Jan. So let's do it. Okay. First question. This term by Benjamin refers to matters of an artwork's uniqueness and authenticity. It is what? Flaneur, aura, becoming, or bricolage? Which term among the following talks about the uniqueness of an artwork? It is aura. Aura. Okay. So Walter Benjamin used the term aura in his 1936 essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction, to describe the unique cultural context of a work of art. For example, Mona Lisa of Leonardo da Vinci, right? So, through this essay, Benjamin argued that even the most perfect reproduction of a work of art lacks the aura of its original because it's missing its unique existence in time and space. So, if you just go to a art gallery, you get to see so many famous artworks, right? Statues, sculptures, paintings. So, if you just go and take a picture through your phone and if you post it on your social media, say Insta stories or whatever, will that picture be the same as the original artwork? No. Though you are posting the same thing, look wise it is same, but it is not the same in terms of the art quality and authenticity because the original has a history of its own in context of time and space. It has a tradition of its own, which that snap doesn't have. So that's what we call aura. There is the unique existence and authenticity a particular artwork has. And that's what Benjamin talked about in his essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. That's a very important essay. So do look up that essay sometime. Next.
Okay, so the next question is Julia Kristeva has adapted this term to describe a pre-linguistic realm which underpins language and meaning, but which cannot itself be pinned down. The options are aphoria, chora, catharsis, and commodification. Yes, so the right answer would be option B, which is chora. Chora means it is the first 6 months of an infant's life, or which is a very earliest stage in the psychosexual development. So that is what you call chora. And let me ask you one previous year question from Julia Kristeva. So when was Powers of Horrors written? Can you tell me the year in which Powers of Horror was written? Yeah, it was asked during one of the previous exams. Powers of Horror by Julia Kristeva. The year is 1980. Powers of Horror was in 1980. So, yes, 1980. So it's a powerful essay on, it's an essay on objection. So that's the subtitle of the essay. Powers of Horror, an essay on objection. So it's very important. So do look up objection also, okay? So objection means it is a state of feeling or a horror that arises when the boundaries between the self and the other or something like a non-human and a human are threatened. So that's what you call an objection. Okay, so we move on to the next question.
Deconstruction is conventionally understood as a school or method of criticism. Equally conventionally, when thought of as a school, method, or critical program, deconstruction is understood to have been developed by French philosopher Jacques Derrida. Very easy sentences, we all know it. So, true or false? Very bland sentence, actually. It's obviously true, right? True. So, through this, let me ask you the years of some of the important works of Derrida. Tell me, Of Grammatology was published in which year? Of Grammatology was published in which year? Years will be very, very important. Like last time, many chronological questions will come from all areas. So, yes, Of Grammatology was published in, let me see what you all are saying. 1967, correct. 1967. Tell me, Spectres of Marx was published in which year? Spectres of Marx was published in which year? Yes, Of Grammatology 1967. Tell me, Spectres of Marx was published in 1993. 1993. Archive Fever was published in? Archive Fever was published in? Try to memorize the years as much as you can. Archive Fever was published in 1995. 1995. Speech and Phenomena was also published in the same year as Of Grammatology, right? Speech and Phenomena. So, yeah. Speech and Phenomena was also published in 1967. 1967. Same year as the publication of Grammatology. Of Grammatology. Who translated Of Grammatology into English? Who translated Of Grammatology into English? The scholar and writer from India, Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak. Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak. She is a Derrida scholar, right? So try to memorize the years as much as you can. Years will be very important, all right? Okay. Next. Yeah.
Yes, so moving on to the next question. This term, often associated with Pierre Bourdieu, refers to the mental or cognitive structures via which people interact with the larger social worlds in which they live. It is genealogy, habitus, dissemination, or none. The answer is habitus. Habitus is the right answer. Yes, habitus. So, can you tell me which are the three forms of capital by Pierre Bourdieu said? Pierre Bourdieu said that there are three forms of capital, and they are economic, social, and cultural. Economic, social, and cultural. Yeah, so these are the three. Okay, so I'll quickly ask you some of the important years. So can you tell me when was distinction a social critique of the judgment of taste was published? Distinction. Can you tell me the year? It is 1979. Yes, 1979. And the Logic of Practice was published in Logic of Practice. Logic of Practice was published in 1980. 1980. And Pure Body is another important work is on television. So that was in 1996. All right, so we will move on to the next question.
The Chicago School flourished from the later 1930s into the 1950s and was centered around the work of R.S. Crane. True or false? We're talking about the Chicago School. Yes, it was a school of literary criticism. Correct. They were also known as Neo-Aristotelians. So, it is true. It started from 1930s, continued till roughly 1950s. R.S. Crane was one of the major propounders or proponents of this school of literary criticism. And the pioneers of this school were also known as Neo-Aristotelians because they followed the principles of Aristotle in terms of literary criticism. Right? So let me tell me who were the notable members of this school, because they often ask this, that who among the following was not a member of this. So to know that, you have to know who were the members, right? So who were the influential members of this school of criticism? We already have one name, that is R.S. Crane. Who were the other people of Chicago School of Literary Criticism, or who were the Neo-Aristotelians? Yes, R.S. Crane, Elder Olson, then Richard Macion, then Bernard Weinberg, and Norman Macklin. R.S. Crane, Elder Olson, Richard Macion, Bernard Weinberg, and Norman Macklin. Norman Macklin. Maclean. And what was the major work that was produced by the school? What was the major work that was produced by this school? It was like their manifesto. It was like their manifesto. Critics and Criticism, Ancient and Modern, 1952. Critics and Criticism, Ancient and Modern, 1952. Edited by R.S. Crane. That was like their manifesto, which brought together all their principles and ideas of criticism, right? Critics and Criticism, Ancient and Modern, 1952, edited by R.S. Crane. Okay? All right. So to look up chronologically all the schools of literary criticism that published both before and after the world wars, the major propounders, the major works produced by them, and don't forget the years. Years are very, very important. So next. Okay, so do enroll for our Speak English classes. We have already started the sessions. Do join us for this course to gain fluency and confidence in your speaking. Numbers are there on the screen where you can contact us for further queries. Okay. Next.
Yeah, so the next question. The Animal That Therefore I Am is a book based on a 10-hour address on the subject of the autobiographical animal given by Dash at the 1997 SETC conference and subsequently publishes a long essay under the title The Animal That Therefore I Am. Yes, we know that it's a phenomenal work and it was by Derrida. Yes, so Derrida is the right answer. Yes, so we talked at length about Derrida today, so we move on to the next question.
Leonard Davis. is associated with what type of studies? Renaissance studies, museum studies, disability studies, or film studies? We have already run out of time, so let's quickly wrap up these questions. Yes, Leonard Davis is associated with disability studies. Disability studies. Leonard Davis. Clear? Right. So that's all from our side for tonight. To join our Speak English classes, we have already started the new batch from 17th December onwards. There are numbers on the screen where you can contact us if you have any further queries regarding the classes and stuff, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the session tonight. All right, so tomorrow there will be paper one session by Jobin sir. Do attend paper one session as well from 9 p.m. We will see you again, okay, on Sunday with American literature.